Hello and welcome. My name is Lexi Jong, and here I like to talk about luxury beauty. And today we are going to be going through new releases, things are coming soon, and we'll do a little will I buy it. I'm also going to be addressing some questions I've gotten from viewers about certain holiday collections. So there are some that I've passed on, so I'm going to go over which ones I passed on and why I passed on those. So if this sounds interesting to you, let's get started. And we're going to start off with the newest Isamaya collection. So this is called Wild Star, and I absolutely love her industrial collection. I love the tones, the colors, the finishes, the textures. Everything was incredible, or is incredible. Her rubber lash mascara in that collection is one of my favorite mascaras. The Wild Star collection is available currently for pre-order at her website at Isamaya Beauty, or Isamaya.com rather. And, it will be coming, Selfridges, I believe, is launching in like a couple weeks. But here's the thing, it's pre-order on her website. It's not actually going to ship for quite a while. So I have not, ordered it yet. It says December 22 to January 23. So I don't think there's an exact date yet. Now, just like her previous collection, everything is vegan and cruelty-free. It's made in Italy. And she has 3 like diamond lip glow lipsticks. So these are going to be like glittery lipsticks. And they look really pretty. I think they look nice. The packaging on here, again, this collection is called Wild Star. So you're thinking like the Wild West and horse shows and things like that. So there are also going to be 3 matching lip liners. You have a, stick highlighter. There's a new mascara. This is a lash wrap mascara. And this one is a different formula from the rubber lash. So this Lash Lasso Lash Wrap Mascara is going to be a volumizing curling mascara, whereas the Rubber Lash was more of a lengthening and lifting and curling mascara. So they are going to be slightly different. And then there is this eyeshadow palette. And I have to say, I'm kind of disappointed by the palette. I think it looks pretty. The colors are very pretty. I don't like the fact that it's a round palette, the packaging and everything. To me, it just makes me think of the Tarte, what was it, the Sea palette, Under the Sea or whatever it was. That's what it makes me think of. And I guess Estee Lauder also has something similar. But it's supposed to be the star of the show, and I just find it to be a little disappointing. And it's $105 for this palette. The Central Pan has 2 grams net weight, and then we're looking at, depending on the actual finish, you're looking at 0.02 to 0.7 or 0.07 ounces per pan. So, I don't know. I haven't decided if I'm going to pick up anything from this collection yet, because the pre-order last time she had like a set that you could purchase. It was essentially what they gave out in PR, but you could purchase it as a set and you saved a little bit of money that way. There is no option like that this time. So you're just buying everything individually. I just don't know if it's worth the money, to be honest. I don't know if I'll be wearing those frequently enough for it to be worth purchasing. So I'm kind of leaning towards no on the Isamaya collection. So I'm a little disappointed. Next, let's talk about the Lisa Eldridge eyeshadow palettes. So Lisa Eldridge's next launch is going to be Friday, November 11th. It's going to be 4 p.m. UK time. And this is her holiday collection. She is going to have new eyeshadow palettes. So I have really been looking forward to seeing some eyeshadow palettes from her, or powder eyeshadows in general. So I will most likely be picking some of these up. At this moment, she has released a little bit of information about the palettes at the time of this filming, but not the pictures. If the pictures come up while I'm editing, I will definitely include those here. But I believe there are going to be 5 palettes, and these palettes are going to be refillable. So you can definitely purchase the refills separately. And, that's about as much information as I know at this moment for the actual, palettes. But we do have a few different, there's supposed to be 8 different finishes. The ones that I know of are the Seamless Matte. So we've got a soft matte texture with a touch of luminosity that practically blends itself. And we also have the Velvet formula, which is going to be a creamy matte powder paint. And that's supposed to grip and adhere beautifully to the skin with a smoothing finish and even coverage. And you can use that one with fingers or a brush. And Luminous is going to give you medium payoff, semi-transparent base for a light veil of color. And with this, you want to use with a light hand for a wash of luminosity, or use your fingertips for an intense glossy lid effect. We also have a metallic finish, and this is going to be a rich, even, and smooth shadow with consistently sized, dense metallic pearls for the most seamless application. And you can, again, opaque molten payoff, it will be with fingers, or use a brush to get a softer wash. Luster is going to be densely packed, smooth, and extra small pearls give this texture a lustrous pearly finish. And the top coat is going to be multicolored sparkling pearls suspended in a transparent base. This minimal pigment formula is great for bringing light to the inner corner of the eye, or to add extra dimension or a more glamorous effect to the eye as a finishing touch. So, by the way, this information comes directly from the Lisa Eldridge website. And, you know, it's not actually a public page. I just kind of happened upon it. So, you know, when I was looking for things. So I don't know if all of this information will be there once they actually publicize it, or if they will edit any of this. So that's the information that I can see on there right now. And yeah, I definitely think I will be picking some of these up. She's also going to, in her launch, she's going to have, you know, some other lipsticks and stuff come back. You know, I'm not buying any more of her velvet lipsticks. I have mentioned that, talked about that already. But, you know, I'm not sure. I might pick up something else from her launch. I have to see what's there. So we'll see. Next Friday, definitely excited to see what's coming. Moving on, we have Suku Spring has already leaked. And, you know, let's face it, I'm buying Suku Spring. I might buy the whole collection. You know, we'll talk about this in more details later on once, you know, we're a little bit closer to spring. I haven't even received my holiday collection yet. I'm still trying to figure out where my order is. I think it might be, you know, a little bit lost. So I'll get that up as soon as it arrives, but I feel like everybody's already getting theirs and no word on mine yet. So for a little bit of information on the Suku Spring, definitely check out Tavia on Instagram. She's at Chic Profile Official. She has a post on the Suku Spring collection already with some details on here. And, you know, we're going to have a mix of limited edition and permanent items that are coming out. There are going to be colored mascaras. They're not like wild colors or anything, but definitely ones that I think I will end up purchasing. But the big spotlight is a new lip product, and this is called the Treatment Wrapping Lip Color. And, you know, I'm not sure exactly what they are. They are liquid lipstick. I don't know whether they're going to be more matte or more satin or what yet, but there are going to be 5 permanent shades and one limited edition shade in this new launch. So according to Tavia, it says they combine the care effect with color and luster. So can't wait to see more on these, but there are definitely swatches and everything there. And, you know, I've been posting things as I see them on Instagram. I post swatches and things like that I see from various accounts. So I post them to my stories in Instagram. If you're not following me there, definitely check me out and pay attention to the stories, because that's where all the good stuff is. And let's go ahead and move on to another item here. This one, I can already tell you, I'm not going to buy it. It's probably out of my price range. I don't know what the price is yet. It's not available on the US Guerlain site yet, but it was just too pretty not to share. So this is the Guerlain L'Abeille Noire edition. And I mean, you can see this is a stunning fragrance bottle shaped like a bee. This is handmade by Baccarat's Master Glass Blowers. I mean, it's very intricate. It's gorgeous. The fragrance itself sounds just like something I would love. You know, you've got kind of those citrus notes, and yeah, you know, this would be like a dream item, but most likely it's going to be out of my budget. Something, you know, handmade by Baccarat is probably going to be very, very expensive. And, you know, this is a collector's item. I'm not a fragrance buff enough in order for me to justify that as a purchase. If it were a lipstick, you know, maybe I could make a case for that. But I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. And, you know, I would totally get this if I had unlimited funds. But, you know, hopefully somebody out there who is really into fragrance, you know, will see this and get this and love it. Next, we have the Chanel Sublimage foundation. The foundation is not new. And so it's not truly a new release here, but they have released 10 new shades. Now, not all 10 new shades are available in all countries, so you definitely need to check and see. But they do now have a lighter shade, the 01 shade, like the BD01. I think they're calling this just B01. But you know, they have a lighter shade. So I might end up picking this one up. I'm still deciding, you know, I'm very happy with the Cle de Peau, the foundation that I bought, and that was a pretty hefty price tag. So definitely want to make sure I use a lot of this before buying new foundations. But I'm considering picking this up. It's available now on the Chanel website. So let me know down below in the comments whether you would be interested in seeing me try this out or not. I don't believe anything has changed with the actual formula. But yeah, they have added new shades. So I think that's great. I love the Sublimage concealer, which is why I'm really tempted to try the foundation. Also coming soon from Chanel are the Tweed blushes. So again, Tavia has photos of these blushes. So this is her photo here. Definitely give her a follow on Instagram. I'll leave her link down below in the description box. But, you know, I think these tweeds look really gorgeous. The blushes look gorgeous. I am still just kind of on the fence. Like, I definitely will pick some up. I definitely plan on trying these. But I only have one of the previous tweed blushes. It's the pink one. And, you know, it hard panned pretty much immediately. There was like no color payoff. So I'm just a little wary about how these are going to perform. So I don't know how many I'll pick up, but I can tell you I'm definitely picking up at least a couple of them. So these are technically going to be spring 2023. We'll see when they actually launch. I haven't seen a launch date yet, but that could be still in December that they actually launch or January. So we'll see. You know, last year we had a ton of Chanel releases, something like it was within the first 5 days of January. So, you know, it was kind of a crazy time. So we'll see when these actually come out. Another new palette, another eyeshadow palette that I'm really interested in is the Burberry eyeshadow palette. So we only have a few pictures of this yet. Now, this is the Burberry eyeshadow palette that came out last year. This is the Runway Eye palette. And this is a really beautiful palette. I love the formulas. The finishes are great. It was really well done. But it was one of those palettes where it came out and you had to like snap it up in like an hour or two, or it was off the site already and they didn't restock very much. So it was really hard to get. Mine was lost in the mail. So by the time I actually received mine, you know, it was gone already. Yeah, so it's just, I hope that's not the case with this one. This one looks like neutral heaven. You know, you've got all these beautiful browns and taupes and things, and I can't wait. I'm very curious to see whether they have something just like pale barley in there, or maybe even pale barley itself. So I definitely plan on picking this up. I'm stalking the website already. As soon as I see something on there, I will let you guys know. But I think it is stunning. So you know, definitely check that out, and I will let you know when I see something. Another new release that I'm really interested in, and I am trying to rein myself in on this, these are the Valde lipsticks. So I have one Valde lipstick already. This is in their regular permanent line. This is the Armor. You can see they are stunning. It looks like, you know, bird wings. You got the feathers. You can get this engraved and so forth. You've got a mirror on one end. So I absolutely love this, and it's one of my most treasured lipsticks. They have created new limited edition Armors for their anniversary. And gosh, they're so pretty. I mean, there are 3 new limited edition Armors. I love all three of them, but I really, really want that green multicolored one that reminds me of like, you know, a multi-chrome eyeshadow. And the red one. You know, I really want those. So I might end up getting myself those for Christmas as a Christmas present, but we'll see. I only see those particular armors available on the Valde website, so I think they are exclusive to their site. And, you know, it's $150 for the armor with the lipstick. So at least they haven't raised the prices for these limited edition armors. But yeah, you know, I don't know. But these do work, you know, like the Guerlain Rouge G cases, where basically this is your case that you can use on anything. And then you have a refill that just snaps right in. It's magnetic. So I have to say, the one that I have the shade Curiosity. It's one of my favorite lipsticks. So I will most likely, I'm going to get at least one of these. I'm trying to talk myself out of getting two, but they're just so stunning. So that's going to be kind of a list of the things that I'm really looking forward to and a few things that I'm like, eh. But I have had a lot of questions about some of the holiday collections that I have not posted any videos on. So and the reason for that is, for most of those, it's because I decided to pass on those collections. So Dior Holiday, I've had a lot of questions about Dior Holiday, and I decided to pass completely on the Dior Holiday collection. I think the holiday collection looks gorgeous, but I just think it looks too similar to previous collections and things that I already have in my collection for me to get enough use out of it. You know, the color stories, you're looking at more like neutral, great daily wear kinds of shades and things like that, which is fantastic. And if I didn't have a YouTube channel, I would probably pick it up and I'd use it like all year round. But, you know, this, with the amount of makeup that I buy for my channel, it's just not feasible for me to use this very often. So for me, I decided to pass on Dior Holiday, although I find the eyeshadow palettes to look very gorgeous. I just don't find them unique enough compared with what I already have. So that's why I passed on those. The Dior blushes, I do think that one shade, the plummy shade, looks stunning, but it looks a little glittery. So that's why I passed on that. And the lipsticks, you know, I have too many lipsticks, so pass on those as well. But honestly, the one item that I've really almost caped on so many times is the multi-use face and eye palette. That one, I don't know why, but that's really calling to me this year. But again, I've talked myself out of it because, you know, you're looking at your general neutrals. I have those colors like 10 times over in my collection. So I decided to pass on Dior Holiday, and I'm standing strong. So next up, we have the YSL Holiday. The only item I picked up from YSL Holiday is the taupe eyeshadow in Unconforming Taupe. So here is number 28, Unconforming Taupe. This is my new favorite taupe eyeshadow. You know, this is going to be a bit more gray. It looks more gray, and then you can see you really do have a kind of like this brown base in there, and it's going to be a cooler tone taupe. I think it is gorgeous, and this is kind of what we've been missing in the taupe market. And the finish is great. It's silky, it's smooth. I absolutely love it. But, you know, I did decide to pass on the rest of YSL. The lipsticks I passed on because YSL lipsticks, although I like them, they're not my favorite, mostly because the fruity scent just reminds me, I used to wear them all the time when I was younger, and it just kind of reminds me of that. So, you know, I passed on the lipsticks for that reason. The other eyeshadow, I passed on the other single, just because I felt like I didn't really need a bronze. I wouldn't wear it that much, but I am tempted to get the bronze. So I might pick up the bronze at some point. But the big palette, was it called Desert? I'll leave the name down here. But I think it's really, or Dune, I don't know. Anyway, I think the palette looks really beautiful. But I've just heard so many mixed reviews of those palettes and the formulas in there over, you know, the past several years, that they're just not a palette that I usually pick up. So I decided to pass on it because although it's very pretty, I know I wouldn't use all of the colors in the palette. And I didn't want to run the risk of picking something up that, I really didn't like at that price point because, it is a limited edition item. And I just, I would rather spend the money on the items that are going to be around a little bit longer, which actually have more longevity on my channel. I mean, honestly, coming from somebody with a YouTube channel, one of the ways I had to decide about purchasing makeup, I decide first whether or not it's something that I like, something that I want. Because, let's face it, that's kind of, it's going to be mine. So I need to make sure that I like it and use it. But following that, then I have to think about whether or not it's a good decision for my channel, if it would bring me views, if there'd be any sort of help to viewers and things like that, and how that weighs with my budget. And so I spent a lot on holiday collections this year. I spent my budget, and this just kind of didn't make that cut. So I did pass on the YSL holiday. I've had a ton of questions about that palette, but I'm sorry, I decided not to pick that one up. NARS holiday, I decided to pass on that. I think it looks very pretty, and I've picked up a few holiday pieces over the years, but I'm usually just not really wowed by NARS holiday, and I just decided it wasn't worth it. Things look nice, but they also don't look that different from things in the past. I think the blush palette looks gorgeous, but again, it reminded me a lot of the one from last year, which I did pick up. So I passed on that. Valentino holiday, I also passed on, but I almost didn't. I almost picked this one up. This has a really beautiful studded lipstick. I think this is gorgeous. It's the shade 111A. And they are calling it like Rosso Valentino, but perhaps that just is referring to the lipstick itself, because they have that studded lipstick that you can purchase as a full-size lipstick. But then they also have a highlighter clutch that comes with a mini red lipstick. I believe it's the same shade because it's still a 111 Ambra, so 111A. But it's not given, the name was different. I forget what it was. But, so I wasn't sure if they were the same shade or not. Anyway, I think that little clutch, the highlighter and so forth in there look beautiful. I would love to try that highlighter, but I don't really want the clutch. It's not something I'm going to use. So I'd rather just be able to purchase the highlighter on its own. And unfortunately, that one's different from the eye to cheek blush shades that they've released. So they've released two in 111 and 112. And I think they look really beautiful. They can be used as a highlighter or a blush or whatever. And I really like the coral one, which is number 111. And I almost picked that up from the Sephora sale, but I just think it's too sparkly for me to use as a blush, but yet it's too deep for me to use as a highlighter. So that was kind of my drawback there on the Valentino. But, if they had done things slightly differently and that highlighter was on its own, and I didn't have to spend $235 just to get a highlighter in packaging I didn't like, then I would have picked it up. But yeah, I still think Valentino needs to work on their packaging personally. And then last up, the By Terry holiday collection. I haven't really seen anybody talk about the By Terry holiday collection, but they have released some things. They've got their holiday sets that they usually have every year, different combinations with like the lip balm and the ombre black stars and things like that. But they have also released one of the new palettes. So every year they come out with one of these palettes. I have the last three. I think they are stunning. I really love them. Last year's, ended up being a palette that I still use on a regular basis. It's like great everyday palette. This one here, the green shade in there is really tempting me. But when I kind of cover that one up, the rest of the colors either look like ones that are in their previous palettes or just shades that don't really interest me. So I did decide to pass on that. I will pick it up if it goes on like a steep discount, but I decided it's not worth it. It's going to end up just sitting here and I don't want to do that. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope my thoughts. I've gotten a lot of questions about how I decide what to purchase for my channel and what to pass on. So I hope this was helpful in that sense as well for those of you who've been asking me about that. And let me know what your thoughts are on all of these collections down below in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. And don't forget to check the description box. Every photo that I use, you know, if I used it from somebody on Instagram or whatever, I'll have the link to their account down below in the description box. So definitely check that out there. And if you are new here and you haven't subscribed yet, definitely subscribe so you can see these videos when they come up, once these items are available. So thank you so much for tuning in. Again, please leave your feedback down below. I really appreciate it. And have a great day. I'll see you very soon.